Let's talk about it.
So there's this whole, like the whole relationship, the whole, everything on TikTok about relationships. It seems to me like it's like, who's got it worse? So we're playing like the who's got the worst victim thing, or who is better. And so you have these two, you have somebody with like a personal experience who is saying that, oh, we're better. It's usually we have it worse, or it's usually I've been victimized worse, or I'm being treated worse, because that's kind of like the spirit of the age is I'm gonna use a story about being treated poorly in order to get attention and in order to bring some kind of comfort to like the pain that I'm experiencing.
Right.
That's like the spirit of the age. I don't know if that's biblically the spirit of the age, but that's just like what's going on right now. It's like, if you can, the louder you are about how mistreated you've been, the more you can kind of bring a little bit of comfort to it. And so there's some payoff, but it comes at the cost of like completely disempowering yourself. And so that sucks. But what I was thinking is that like we have two individual people who they're not joining together in a relationship. And I've heard this talked about, like a relationship is its own organism. It's its own organization. And I don't think people really understand that they're not, in some way they're two people doing something, but it's like they're not understanding getting into a relationship as creating a new entity. It's almost like you want to jump into it and be like, we're creating a whole new thing here. And when you're in the, if you've ever been a founder, around a startup founder, this may not be a lot of people, but you don't show up to work and be like, how are my needs being met? Like you show up to work and you're like, okay, we got stuff to do. Are we good? What do you need from me? How can I bring value? And then the payoff is that you're actually moving towards something, you're building something in the world.
Yes.
And in order to have like a healthy company, let's say you got you and a co-founder. Like this is a really interesting metaphor for a relationship. It's you and a co-founder. You don't show up. You want to watch the sickest organization. You and the co-founder show up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you go, "You're not meeting my needs." No, you're not meeting my needs. Like you want to watch it, and like no work will get done because that's fundamentally not how the organization should be structured, right? You want to have two healthy people, for the most part, healthy people who show up with a shared goal, and then they contribute to the outcome of that shared goal.
Yes.
I don't think it's that different from a romantic relationship. But the one thing that I hear with romantic relationships is my needs aren't being met. And so as soon as like a man or a woman starts really getting into that question, like really looking at that, like how are my needs being met or not being met? It's completely the wrong orientation, because now we have an individual person who is in deficit with their emotional, physical, or mental health, and they are trying to draw resources from a two-person organization that may also have a deficit in resources in their own individual moral, mental, spiritual health.
Yeah.
And so I once heard it called the two ticks, no dog. Two ticks, no dog.
I never heard that one.
It's, you got two like ticks that are trying to suck blood, and there's nothing.
Oh, I see. I love that analogy. This whole analogy. I was telling you the other day, there's a video I posted about independent woman in a relationship is counterintuitive. And his point in the video, he was saying, it's like you going to create a business and have a business partner that you don't need.
Yeah.
What's the point? That it doesn't make any sense. So if we look at it, people are saying, oh, well, relationships are all about love, and like, yeah, they are. But if two people are coming together, like we talked about in one of the other episodes, two people coming together, like you said, for a common goal or something that you want, something that you guys want out of life. Maybe you guys want to have freedom. Maybe you both don't want to work 9 to 5s anymore, and you want to create an empire together to where you guys have assets that work for you, or you guys have businesses that you work towards. And not everybody has that mind process. Some people go into it, just like you said, like leeches, trying to see what they can get out of the other person. It's not so much as what can we do for each other. I think that's really what it's come down to. My point is, if you guys work together, if you guys are working together and I'm working to get, to do what you need from me, you're working to do what I need from you. We're both trying to do things for each other. We're not trying to just take, we're both giving. And if both people are giving to each other, no one's going to be unhappy. No one's going to be unfulfilled, and you're going to be pouring back into each other. So it's going to be a healthy relationship when you both can pour into each other spiritually, physically, emotionally. And then you guys are manifesting power. You guys are literally putting your powers together. You guys are pouring into each other. That's really, I feel like that's what relationships are really about, because doing it on your own, it takes a lot longer. It's more difficult. Life is a little bit more difficult. But if you come together with someone that has very similar goals, you guys might have the same vision, or they believe in the vision that you guys are wanting to create. I feel like that's a priceless union. I said that before, but it's like, it's just such a beautiful thing when two people can come together and not be so much about arguing and trying to let me see what I can get from this person, or like you said, I'm not getting my needs met. It's like, but why aren't we both trying to do things for each other to build what we have, or build this connection and this bond and this union, so that you can create something even more and have an even more penetrative life in the world?
I just think the question is, it's probably the first indicator. First of all, like if I'm watching another relationship coach, it's the first indicator that they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Right.
If I like flip through and find a video and she's like, you need to ask yourself if he's meeting your needs. Like, wow. Yeah. Like that just shows a complete misunderstanding on one level of what the nature of a relationship is. There's now in another frame, I talk all the time about women receiving and men giving. So there is a way that question makes sense about, is he meeting your needs, but not in the way that it's meant when other people say it, Right. And if somebody asks a man, is she meeting your needs? That is just out of left field. Like, that person has no business advising folks.
Seriously.
I got a model that's like emerging in my head. We got three kind of types of relationships. We've got are they meeting my needs relationship? So that's, you go into a relationship seeking resources to make yourself healthy. And you could have one person that's doing that, or you could have both people that are doing that. And probably maybe both people are doing that. And so that is probably like the lowest vibe, saddest, kind of suckiest argument. Yeah. And there's probably some like emotional roller coasters happening in that too. Let's just call that like low vibe. That's the low vibe. What can I take? And then you have like the two people who are like kind of neutral, and they're just like hanging around, There's, we are like sharing space, and we're good, and you're cool and I'm cool, and you're over here and I'm over here. And like they're two independent people. So that's like the independent people relationship. Mm-hmm. And then you have this third one, and I'm tempted to make it better than the other two. It may be. And that's when two people like actually have a vision to bring something new into the world. They actually are like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to produce offspring and raise them in a way that makes the world a better place, and that is a contribution. And we're going to work on ourselves actually to strengthen our community and strengthen the world and bring goodness into the world. And we're going to support each other doing that. And then those are the people that I want to speak to, because I'm like, okay, if you want to do that in a way that doesn't, that you don't get territorial around your masculine and feminine energies, there's a really good way to do that. The other two, I don't think it applies to. And I've been on TikTok and I've seen a lot of people be like, well, it's just total victim. It's total victimization. Like, he wronged me, she wronged me. Yep. And I don't have anything, like, the work that I do doesn't speak to that, because it's just, other than saying like, yeah, take responsibility for for your life, for the results of your life, for choosing, for allowing yourself to be abused. I mean, it sucks. I get it. I probably can't use this part all out on video, but like, I don't have a lot to say to them. Like the point is, what I'm working with is, how do we get the people who have a shared vision, or the people who want a shared vision, or feel like there's something more to bring to life in partnership? How do we get that working really well so that they don't get tripped up on their own energies, or on their own, bullshit like everybody's got?
Yeah, that's something I see on all the relationship stuff that I post. It's always who wronged who, and this person's supposed to be doing what these people are supposed to be doing. And, not often enough am I seeing enough people saying what they need to be doing on their end to fulfill a relationship, or having a relationship where there's no blame, there's no passing of judgment. It's looking at it like an entity. All right, this relationship, we need this relationship to work. And I'm committed to you, you're committed to me. What do we need to do to fix this? What do we need to do to actually keep this thing on fire and floating and healthy? What do we need to do? Too many people are not in that mentality. They're just like, oh, it's your fault. You did this to me and this is why. And not realizing, well, the reason why the person did this is because you acted this certain way, or might talk to them in this certain way, and it made them to do this. And instead of taking your responsibility in that, it's just pointing fingers, blame, shame, guilt. And those types of relationships, I think a lot of that can happen in the independent relationships, because it's just, well, I'm self-sustainable over here, you're self-sustainable over there. My money is my money, your money is your money. We're pretty much good how we are. We're not trying to grow. We're just really cool right here where we are. This is it. And, you're not doing your part. Oh, you're not doing your share of this. And you're not doing your share. It's just like, it can be kind of transactional in that sense. But I don't think there's a lot of people. I mean, I think there are people like this that want to have that co-manifestation. They want to build together. They actually want to not just have one person just sitting and basking and just soaking up from the other person. It's, what can I do for you? We need to be in service of each other. We need to make sure that each other is doing and giving. If we're both building each other up, we can't go wrong there. But there's too many people that aren't in that mindset. I think that's what it is. I think people use relationships to get out of being alone. Some people use relationships to not heal to run away from something that maybe they've dealt with in the past, and it just feels better to be with the person. Some people, like I said, they want resources. Some people want provision. There are women that will marry men just because they will provide for them. And there's no love there. So there's all different types of relationships like this. I think there's just not enough people that have done the work, to rid of their trauma, to really try to be your best self. Because when you become your best self, and it's a constant journey, it's a constant battle. But when you are doing that, you're going to only want to be with other people that are trying to be better, that are trying to become their best selves. And I think there's just not enough people doing that. But another reason why I feel that our work is really important, because what I'm realizing is a lot of stuff I'm posting, it is planting some seeds, and it is turning on some light bulbs in people's heads. I'm noticing I am getting some backlash, but backlash is good, because that means that it's striking something that's inside of people. And so I think really what it comes down to is, if people want to become better and become their best selves and want more out of life, they're going to automatically want a person that thinks that way. You can't really be with someone else that doesn't think that way once you get to the point where you're trying to be better, because you're here now, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. And if you're trying to be with someone that's just, physically, emotionally, spiritually down here, just low vibe, not really wanting more, content with their life, and just kind of want to, float around in life and just let the wind, take them wherever. I feel like that is where the difference is. You're going to want more out of another person. You're going to want someone that sees in at least the same level as you, in the direction of what vision that you want for your life. So yeah. I think that's kind of what it would take is more people waking up, wanting more out of life, wanting more from themselves. That's how, because relationships are only going to be as good as the people are.
Yeah. I just had I made a connection while you were talking. So thank you. well, there's only so much stuff people say about relationships, right? It's like, he's a narcissist, she's a covert narcissist, whatever it is. Like, there's only so much people say. And one thing there's one sentiment that people say that I keep hearing repeated, which is, why would I be in a relationship? Like, it's not worth my time anymore. And women are saying this, well, both men and women are saying this, right? You have all the red pill guys who were like, why would I do this? I'm putting all my assets at risk. My kids are at risk. And what do I get back? I don't get anything in return. And then she's in the same way, like, why would I put up with his crap, and he's gonna abuse me and then leave me? Why would I do that? Why would I subject myself to that? Now, both questions are oriented at this: what can I get from the relationship?
Yep.
Both are fundamentally oriented from two individuals looking at what they can take. And you will never have a healthy relationship if you are committed to seeing yourself just as a person, just as like, I gotta get enough resources for this, and I'm going to use a relationship to get resources. And by the way, I mean time, energy, attention, affection. I don't just mean money. In fact, I didn't even think about money when I said that. But there is no reason like, in the modern world, when women can produce an income and men can have their income taken away, and if you're going to look at what you can get, there's no reason to be in a relationship. All of these people are exactly right. I totally agree with them. There's no reason in the modern world to be in a relationship unless I haven't been to a black church in a long time. That was probably not close. There's probably no reason to be in a relationship unless you are working and you're clear that you're healthy and you meet another healthy person and you want to work together to create something together. And whether that's a household, whether that's a company, whether that's a family, whether that's a fucking puppy dog, you have the idea in your head that two people are coming together to make a new organization, a new organism, a new entity that requires investment and can care for you in moments that you're not able to provide additional investment.
Yes.
But if you only approach it as needing to take, there will never be a reason to be in a relationship, because you'll have two people who are looking to draw resources from each other who don't have enough resources for themselves.
Yes.
They don't have enough kindness, time, attention, heart, peace for themselves. And they're looking to another person to bring that. The other person's looking to bring that. There's a deficit, and there's no reason to be relating. Go find God, motherfucker.
Point blank. Hey, I'm telling you, that right there is so true, though. There's too much codependency. There's too much people trying to survive off of each other instead of like you said. You said that's so great. Like, a partner is a partner. That's why you call it a partner. Like someone that you're gonna be in this with, like, for a long period of time, if not forever. You want someone that's going to really understand the vision that you are both trying to do, and you want someone that's going to have your back, because we run into hard times sometimes. There's some times where we're not going to be 100%. There's some times where life is going to punch us in the face. We're going to fall flat on our ass, and we need help. We need someone that's going to be able to support and, motivate you to get back up. And same vice versa. You need to be able to do the same thing, because your partner might not always be 100%. Sometimes it's going to be 80-20. Sometimes it's going to be 60-40 when it comes to effort, because of tiredness or just life things that happen, parents passing away, all types of different things, financial hardships. There's all types of stuff that can happen in life, and it will at some point. But it's how life is only going to be as hard as the partner that you pick. Because if you can pick the wrong partner or be in a relationship for the wrong reasons, and when the hardships do come, it's going to be times 1,000, because you guys are not prepared for it. You guys don't even love each other half the time. You're just in it because this person's paying your bills. And so when an actual hardship happens, oh, babe, I done lost my job. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this for, a month or two. I need some help. What do you need help for? What do you mean? I actually just seen a podcast on this about it yesterday, I think it was. And all these guys were calling their wives, and they were doing like an experiment. Hey, babe, like I lost my job. I'm going to be out of money for a couple of months, just a couple of months. Like, you think you can put the help with the bills and stuff until I'm back at it? And most of the women that they had, they were like, "Oh yeah, babe, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Just a couple of months. Oh yeah, just a couple of months. Okay." And it was like, but it was cool. There was only one guy. His wife was like, "What?" She was like, "What do you mean? What do you what do you mean you need me to do what? You need me to do what? For how long?" But a lot of them had picked really great partners, because if it all goes to shit, they're gonna have someone that knows how to stabilize them, and that's what you want, because if we're both given to each other, we need to be able to be that backbone for each other. Sometimes one of the other is going to be weaker, but that's really how you end up withstanding those long-term relationships and marriages. Like you said, find God, heal, make sure that you are dealing with those traumas. Don't bring that onto your good new partner that doesn't have baggage. It doesn't have, these issues that they're bringing to you from them. They healed from that. It's going to take both people, like you said, healthy people getting into a relationship together, and then realizing, okay, now that we are both healed, we are both whole. Now we can come together and be even more whole and manifest the life that we want. And it's healthy. There's going to be disagreements and stuff like that. That's natural, that's normal. But if you got two people that are on one accord, it's going to be a lot less extreme arguments like that, because you guys are both going in the same direction. When you guys are butting heads, when they say like unequally yoked, yeah, you're going to have two people trying to do this. You're both yoked together, but you're trying to go opposite ways. You're not able to. And it took me a long time to actually figure out what that meant. My dad is a pastor, and so you always used to say you need to be equally yoked. You need to make sure you're with a woman that's a Christian. I realized it's even deeper than that. You gotta be with someone that has the same morals, the same values. Kind of like the same direction as far as goals. If you got someone that wants to do OnlyFans and be a stripper, that might be different than what you're trying to do if you're trying to be a businessman. It's that's an extreme example, but that's what people do. They're like, oh, well, this person's attractive and I think they're cool. I'm just going to be with them. But then they realize their values go opposite. And so it's like, of course, your relationship's not going to work long term. Yeah, you might be attracted to them. The sex might be good for a while. It might keep you guys around for a while. But overall, you guys don't have anything that you're trying to do to accomplish together. You're trying to do opposite things. So that's what a lot of people, they run into this issue, because they just hop into relationships for the wrong reasons, and they hop into the relationships prematurely before they heal.
I want to go back on what I said, because I'm just spitballing with you, man. Like I'm explaining. I woke up today and I saw the picture in my head of like person relationship. Like it's the next level up, and it needs to be cared for, and it needs to be operated. The relationship needs to be operated, and not hung out around and not taken from. And so anyway, I'm just spitballing with all that, which is to say, like, I want to go back on this thing I said about being healed, because I don't actually think it's that hard. I think it's actually just approaching the relationship where you just know that you have to give to it instead of take from it. That may be it. I mean, you can align values, you can align morals, all that stuff is really good. But if you and your partner just say, like, listen, this is what I think this is. We're going to give more to this than we take from it. And like, to a degree, like say a percentage, like I want to try to give 80% and only take 20%, when I need to. And then we'll see what that creates. Like, we'll see if that creates something that's better than the sum of its parts. Because that's the ideal. Otherwise, go home, be by yourself. Nobody's bothering you. You got your Nutella and your Netflix. Like, ain't nobody gonna ruffle your feathers. If you want to get into something, I just don't think it takes healing. I think we're all at different levels, and I don't think we'll ever get there. So to say like, oh, I want to wait to be in a relationship until I'm healed. No, just wait till you're in a relationship, till you can understand I'm doing this for a shared vision, and I'm going to bring more energy to it than I take.
Yes. Because I mean, at the end of the day, giving is going to be your best thing that you can do for the relationship. If both people are giving, you're both stoking the fire, so it can't go out.
Yeah. And the other thing this is a little bit in contrast to the masculine, feminine, giving, receiving thing, because I'm talking about both partners showing up and giving. What a woman can do to both receive in her feminine and show up and give more to the relationship than she takes is confront all of the stuff that is in her way from receiving. That's a gift to the relationship.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit paradoxical. I'm not sure if anybody's going to really get that, but the investment that a woman would put in a relationship is doing the work to soften and receive from him.
Yes.
And to follow his leadership and to submit to his loving guidance.
Yes.
That's the work that she can bring. He's bringing material protection, material provision. He's bringing presence. He's bringing leadership. She's bringing the work to soften and to be radiant and to be the spiritual channel for him to feel in his body, to be the co-manifester, to be the nurturer of the vision, whether that's a baby in her womb or whether that is just co-manifesting by, feeling the pleasure of that vision and attracting that into the relationship. Whatever it is, she's the incubator. She's the nurturer of that vision. I love this part. I love that we're able to define what it means to be in a real divine union.
Yes, because I think everybody has this misconceptions of what relationships are supposed to be like, because no one really had that. No one's had an actual relationship to look up to as to what it should be like. Two people really just loving each other, supporting each other. No matter what type of stuff comes at them, they still make it through. They endure, and they are there for each other. They're really there to hold each other up. That's a beautiful thing. You don't see that every day. You do see a lot of people just, can he get me a bag? Can he? I want a Birkin bag. I want the red bottom shoes. I want to have the lifestyle. It's all about, I need to get this. He's all like, oh yes, I'm just trying to make sure, like, I get my sex from her, this, that, or she's my arm candy or whatever it might be. It's just too superficial, so shallow and surface level. But there's so much more that can come out of a divine union, a divine relationship. And I think people just, they look at it the wrong way. And I do agree with what you said about the healing. I feel if everyone's making sure they're giving, then you really, I say 90% of the time you can't go wrong. If everything else is lining up, then how can you fail? You're not pointing fingers at anybody else. You're just saying, okay, what can I do? What can we do to make this work?
Mm-hmm. Women are going to misunderstand this thing about giving, because they're going to think, I already gave too much. But it was the wrong kind of giving. Mm-hmm. Like it was this, remember we talked about the nice guy versus the kind man?
Yes.
And the nice guy did something to get something in return, and the kind man was fulfilled and aligned and resourced and just did it. He's like, here's your granola bar, go be well. I'm good. Whatever happens after that, like middle finger or a thank you or whatever, it doesn't matter, because he's just acting in alignment with his character and being a good, healthy, resourced human.
Yes.
Okay, well, there's a female version of that, and it plays out in relationships where she overgives in relationship because she's trying to take. And then when nothing happens, when she's giving, she gets resentful and she sets herself up to be abused. She becomes a vacuum for mistreatment, because all of her giving was never coming from a place that was resourced. It was always coming from a request for love. And that's not how you request love, and that's not where you get love. We're talking about relationships where two people are contributing from a place of health. She needs to stop giving, go back into her individual self, resource herself with her with her peace, with God, with whatever she needs to do to care for herself before she keeps giving. And that will disrupt the relationship, and there will be fallout from that, I'm sure. But it's the same thing. The overgiving woman and the kind man are the same archetype in different bodies.
They are. That's so true.
Thanks for jumping on, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Hey, stay elevated.